Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to talk about Vivid Knight. And Vivid Knight is an AutoChess deck building roguelite that has absolutely blown me away. If you're a fan of the channel for a while, you know I'm addicted to AutoChess games like TFT, Underlords, and Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and we're finally starting to see a bunch of not only auto-battler roguelites come out, but specifically AutoChess-like games that have the concept of getting a ton of different units that all belong to different factions and allow you to upgrade them if you get 3 of a kind. So in the game, you start out by choosing one of 3 different units that are shown to you. They all have unique stats, abilities that can trigger in combat, and 2 different factions they belong to. And these factions are super important because once you have a certain amount of units that share a faction in your party, you get incredibly powerful passives. So there is an orange faction that some units are a part of, and when you get 3 of them in your party, at the start of each combat, you set all the enemies on fire. And it stacks even higher, so if you get to like 5 or 7 orange units, you'll apply even more burn on the enemies. And there's a ton of different factions in the game that all give different crazy abilities. One could give your team magic defense, or one could give your units double damage, or apply shock on enemies, and a huge part of the game is trying to figure out which alliances to go for each game. And it's easier said than done because duplicates of the same unit don't count towards increasing your number in each symbol, so you really have to work hard trying to get those symbol bonuses. There are items in the game that you can find during runs that can go in your ring, necklace, or earring slots that'll give you passive bonuses along with giving you some progress towards these different symbols though to make it a little bit easier. And like I said earlier, another huge part about the game is upgrading your units. So if you find 3 of the same unit, then you can upgrade them into an upgraded unit, and also if you somehow manage to get 3 of the same upgraded unit, you can upgrade all of those together to make a like super upgraded unit. And what's cool about Vivid Knight is normally you need to actually have the units in your active party to have their symbols count towards the bonuses, and any in your inventory don't count, but when you upgrade a unit, their symbols always count even if you take them out of your party or sell them, which is really awesome. It's the first time I've seen an auto chess game do something like this, and it actually makes the decision between spending gold to increase your max party size or spending that gold to trying to upgrade units an interesting decision. Also, later in the game you might actually find higher rarity units, as there's bronze, silver, and gold units, so you might decide that you need to get rid of some of your upgraded, bronze units and replace them with an awesome gold unit you found. And the main reason you're building up your party and trying to get alliance bonuses is to defeat enemies in combat. And the combat, like other auto chess or auto battler games, takes place on its own. The enemies and your units all fight at the same time, and sometimes they'll trigger their abilities depending on what they are. However, there is a whole other element to this game in the form of gems that you see at the bottom of this screen. So throughout the game you will find more gems, mainly from these like gem slot machine shops that will give you different types of gems that can be used in a bunch of different ways. Some are meant for combat, and so during the auto battler part in combat, every couple of seconds the game kind of pauses and lets you play one of your cards. So this could be something as simple as doing damage to enemies, applying debuffs to them, shielding or healing your units, or more. There are also gems you use outside of combat, like gems that give you more mana, which you actually use to explore each floor. And the exploration part of the game is just as interesting as the combat. Each time you move from room to room, you spend 1 mana, and when you run out of mana, all of your units start taking damage as you move. So you definitely have to plan out where you're going to go before you start moving, and that mana actually goes back up to full every time you go to a new floor. Before you move on to the next floor though, you have to find the key, which is randomly in one of the enemy encounters. And obviously you want to try exploring as much as you can in order to get more units, find more shops, and farm more money. And so you keep doing this until you die or defeat the final boss, and when you do finish a run, if you beat it, it will unlock a new mission that has you going further and further into the dungeon. So like I think the first mission only has like 3 floors, and some of the later ones are way longer. It definitely gives off some like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon vibes. And the out-of-game progression is actually pretty cool. You can use this crystal currency you find in runs and from completing missions to open up packs, and each pack allows you to pick one of 3 things to permanently unlock. Some of them are brand new units, some are new items, and there's even a couple random permanent upgrades like an increase in max mana or something like where you start with a mana potion. I think the fact that you get to see 3 different things and have to choose only one to unlock is actually a really good idea instead of just unlocking a bunch of stuff at once, since it makes it feel more rewarding since you got to choose your reward particularly. And the game has a pretty awesome anime art style, and I know I'm biased because I'm a fan of anime, but the graphics are really clean and colorful looking, and the soundtrack is honestly a banger. So if you are a fan of auto chess games or auto battle or roguelites, I would definitely say you need to get this game. It's honestly one of the best auto chess roguelites that exists right now. When Despot's game comes out, that might be another discussion, but either way, this game is amazing. So if you have played Vivid Night or just from watching gameplay, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you want to see even more gameplay, I have a Let's Play series on the game that you should definitely check out because we get some crazy moments and combos. But if you guys are going to be grinding out some Vivid Night on your own, then I wish you guys luck and see you all next time.